Wow. Just look at him. He's beautiful. He's beautiful. This is Thingsaver. Thingsaver Dragon. We are going to deck profile this today. I'm super excited because this is one of, or if not my favorite units in Vanguard. It's just such a dope unit. It restands. It does so much for the deck. It does so much. I hate to say it, but I think this might be the most underrated deck in all of Vanguard right now. As funny, people are probably laughing. I'm like, it's it is a turn 4 deck. You're not wrong there. Turn 3 can be occasionally weak, but holy shit, does this boy pop off turn 4? I mean, Thingsaver does everything for the deck. Like, this card is insanity. It, like, literally should not exist. If you need to know what it does, you can read. I can, like, really quickly explain. And you can counter when you call it. You can counterblast 1. You could search the Blaster Blade, and you can call it, and then Blaster Blade Seeker. You will see very soon why it is so good as well. And then its real big effect, it gives the Blaster Blade 10k for each force marker as well, which stacks really quick. But then the Vanguard abilities at the end of the battle, it attacks. If you didn't ride this turn, you could Soul Blast 3 and then ride a Thingsaver from deck, and then you can call the Blaster Blade on top of a unit. It's really, really, really good, generating another force marker as well. It's an insanely good card. It's one of my favorite cards in all of Vanguard right now. The old Thingsaver and the new Thingsaver. I'm absolutely just mesmerized. And now a card that I ran at 4 for the longest time and then just now recently cut to 3 is Jewel Knight Ashley. And this is a really good card for certain occasions. Sometimes it comes up and can literally steal a whole game, and very, very occasionally you'll even ride it on Vanguard. But this is a deck where you really want to be riding into your main unit. Sorry, there's like a loud-ass fucking dump truck outside, unfortunately. That is wildly unfortunate. I'll just talk through it, fuck it. So Ashley is really, really good. Yeah, actually might not talk through that. All right, so about Ashley, really good card, is a huge rearguard unit we like to see in the deck. We like to basically call it and then ride Blaster Blades over it because it does counterblast 1. You can gain a crit. Its Vanguard ability is good, and what makes it really good is actually the rear guard. I mean, I guess I mentioned I led with the first effect. The second effect is what's really good about this card. We didn't form the deck around Ashley. This probably is going to go to either 2 or 1. I used to run this at 3. It's just this new Jewel Knight card that got revealed, Salome, is so insanely good that it's just going to straight up like replace it like with Ashley a little bit. Maybe not. I mean, in a pure Jewel Knight deck, you're probably going to run 4 and 4. But yeah, this card is really good. It's still getting better. That's the cool thing about Thingsaver is with the new Jewel Knight supports, it's indirect Thingsaver because Royal Paladins don't really work out of the soul the way Thingsaver and Ashley do. So they really kind of support each other in a way. I mean, look at it's kind of intertwined right here. This is very Thingsaver Jewel Knight, and it's going to continue to go that way, especially with the amazing support that has been revealed. Like yesterday, Salome. I mean, Salome is crazy. Salome is just as cracked as this card right here because I actually think Blaster Blade Seeker is absolute insanity on cardboard. Because he's so cheap too. So what you do is you'll ride into your Thingsaver, turn 3. You'll get the force marker. You'll counterblast 1, and you'll call a Blaster Blade. If you have one of these in hands too, if you have one of these in hand, you can call one to the rear. You'll have one on rear prior, so you'll call this when you'll have the Thingsaver. So you have force 1 here. Now, if you don't know what this guy does, basically you can discard a card, choose one of your opponent front or rear guards, you can retire it, and then you choose one of your Vanguards with Seeker in it, and it gets +2 crit. And then what makes it even better, this little effect right here is what makes the card so cracked. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks. If you did not ride this turn, put this on the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So on turn 4, it's basically a +2, which is just so good. And on top of that, you give your Vanguard a crit, and you'd retire a rear guard, all for a discard and 1 counterblast. It's crazy. You want to basically just survive to turn 4 because once you get to turn 4 with Thingsaver, you absolutely go off. You basically, I mean, if you're healthy enough, if you have like 3 or 4 cards, turn 4, Thingsaver going into turn 4, yeah, it's going to be really unfortunate for your opponent because you're going to be potentially drive checking, 6, 7, 8 times, which is just really going to be tough for whoever you're going against. But that's what makes this deck so fun. You just are drive checking the absolute life out of your deck, which is super, super fun. Basically, and super, super, man, how many times am I going to say super? Blaster and Thing Saver heavy. I mean, these guys do everything for you. You always win off Blaster Blade and Thing Saver, which is so fun. Or if you didn't win off Blaster Blade and Thing Saver, you'd probably win off Lail, because Lail is really good. This is maybe one of the best Jewel Knights because it's a grade 2. It's so insane. When it attacks, you can put 2 normal units from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck in any order. You soul charge 1 and it gets 5k. So it gives you soul. And what is also really good is its second ability, which is awesome. We use it all the time. It's when your other unit is placed in this unit's circle, it gets 10k. So when you have this online, you can, especially if you see 2 of them early, you can call 2 of them, you can attack, you can intercept with 1. But if you have one sitting and you use Thing Saver, you can just go and call the Blaster Blade over it, and boom. Now it has 10k from the Lail. You discard 1, gives 1 crit to Thing Saver. Now it's got another 10k from the 1 force marker, and then when you go into a next turn, it's going to have 2. So it stacks quick, it gets really high, and you basically start hitting with rear guards that have drives and restanding Vanguards, and oh man, I love this deck so much. It's such a great deck. Then I have 2 Blaster Darks. This is kind of an interesting pick, and I actually really like it in the deck. I was originally running at 4, took it way down to 3, had it at 3 for a while, and now I'm running at 2, and I think it's perfect at 2. It's a really good unit, to be honest, and sometimes you can go and you can rush, and you can call, counterblast 1, retire, and then ditch 1, and even dual drive or twin drive on your opponent's, like, on turn 2, which is nuts. But yeah, Blaster Dark is a really cool card. Really, really cool card. We like him a lot. Now moving on to the grade 1s. The grade 1s, honestly, for this deck are incredible. I mean, they do everything. They do everything. Starters, Sisylas. If you don't know what he does, he is the grade 3 searcher. You need him because you always want to search into Thing Saver. And even sometimes I'll call the Sisylas and just pitch the Thing Saver in to shuffle it back later. Because, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I didn't address that early on. Thing Saver is so insane because with the Legion effect, choose 4 cards from your drop, return them to your deck, search your deck for up to 1 Thing Saver, write it as stand. So basically what you're doing is you're shuffling basically every time 4 triggers, usually 4 crits, maybe 2 crits and a heal, back into the deck, and then you're taking 2 cards out. So you're not only putting 4 cards back in, they're all triggers, and you're taking 2 more cards that aren't triggers back out. Not only are they just cards, they're like the most broken cards in your whole deck. It's actually insanity. Like, I think this deck is one good support piece away from just being insane, especially a defensive piece, because this deck has all the firepower. It just can't, it doesn't go off till turn 4 because we need that Legion Thing Saver. We want a Legion with the Blaster Blade Seeker. But anyways, Sisylas gets us those Thing Savers. Morvidus, another great Jewel Knight card. When it's rode over, you get to draw a card, and then counterblast 1, put a normal unit from your drop zone at the bottom of your deck. You can soul charge 1, give a unit plus 5k. It's not that good, but it gives you soul charge. Driving over it, though, we love it. We love to drive in Morvidus and then just ride over it with Lail, get a +1. We love that. MVP of the deck, Loki. This card is another card that is just actually bonkers insanity. It is Knight of Warhammer Augustus. So this card is, I mean, this card should be ran at 4, but because of its slight restrictions on its card, it's not. But it is the most deservingly ran at 4 card in this entire deck. But I run it at 3, so I don't want that to be a deterrent, because sometimes people see ratios and are like, like, since it's ran at 3, it's probably not as potent of a card. Like, no, like, the amount of work this does more than Sisylas is crazy. Except Sisylas just gets us to those needs and fulfills that consistency. Augustus is nuts, though. You got to read his effect. So basically, when you boost a unit with Blaster Blade and its card name, you can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and that unit gets plus 5,000 and drive 1 to the end of the battle. The amount of times we use this is crazy. We use it all the time because it's a counterblast 1 and a discard 1 for our Seeker, for our big Seeker to be swinging. It gets even better, though. It gets ridiculously insane because its second ability is in the back row rear guard. Once per turn at the end of the battle, your Vanguard attack, you can stand this unit. So basically, when you go and you swing for your Blaster Blades and you swing in the first part of turn 4, so you have a standing Thing Saver, you only have 1 force marker, you have hopefully 2 columns of Blaster Blade, you swing a Blaster Blade, you go, return it to the bottom of the deck, draw 1. And then you go off with Thing Saver, you do it to another Blaster Blade, then you go off with Thing Saver, Soul Blast 3, do your Legion, and then when you ride the Thing Saver, stand. Then when you call this, when your Thing Saver attacks, Augustus will have restood. And then when you call off the Thing Saver, you call the Blaster Blade again, you do the whole cycle, you disc the card, you give him crit 2, so your Vanguard is swinging for crit 2 again, while your Blaster Blade is going to have this again, and if you have the Counterblast live, you could even get the drive again. It's crazy. This card is insane. Like, this card is actually bonkers. Absolute staple, Insanity card. Another great card for Soul to get in Soul really early on in the game and really easy is 3 Lucius. Lucius is super cool. Basically, when you ride a grade 3, you just throw him into Soul and you draw a card and you call a card a rear. Calling a card a rear could be awkward sometimes, but it's pretty good because it gives you Soul and it draws and nets you 1 card. All you got to do is call a card to the rear guard zone and you're good. And then basically we run Knight of Going Alone Herald. I did not run this guy for like a whole month, 2 months after Clan Selection came out, and then I realized that he's actually a really, really good card. And when your grade 2 unit is placed on another from hand during your turn, you put this into your Soul and it gets 15,000 until the end of the turn. And I always knew it was a good card, but I didn't realize how much you needed Soul, and restanding twice with this deck is totally doable, and you do it all the time. So you definitely need that extra Soul. So as I've played this, as I've tested this, I've realized how Soul dependent it could be at times, and that's why the Jewel Knights at first when I picked up the deck, I was like, hey, the Jewel Knights doesn't seem like they mix as well. And then I was like, oh my gosh, they mix perfectly. I was just piloting the deck, maybe not as efficiently, or not as efficiently isn't the right word, but just I didn't get how the deck clicked yet. And once you kind of see how it works and see how the Soul works and see how you like what units you use, when you use them, and how kind of certain cards interact with each other, it kind of starts making sense. So that is our kind of main deck type main units here. I'll set that right there, and now I will go through our crit lineup. Nice. 4 Flogel, pretty standard. 4 Epina, look at that one common one. I bought these all in a pair and they only had 3 triples, so I could, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Moving on to the 4 Drop EGs. We got our beautiful Assault here. She's great. And then lastly, we got our 4 Innocent Ray Dragons. This card is insane. You absolutely need 4 of him. Shining Knight Milius, our normal. I actually ordered a really pretty, like the $1 one from like the Sanctuary trial deck that's coming in. I'll put it on the screen. But this one is the one we're using for now. Maybe I'll get the SP of Milius, because Milius is cool. He's cool, but I just have the common one for now. You know, humble beginnings, right? But anyways, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, leave a like. I would love to get some feedback, hear what you guys think about some of these videos I'm putting out. A little Flogel, say what's up. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think of Thing Saver too. Drop a like. Let me know what videos you guys want to see soon. And if you guys got any requests, I would love to know. Anyways, it has been Super Chase. I have very much enjoyed your presence during this video. If that even makes sense, you're not here, but you're kind of here when you think about it. But maybe you're not. I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuce.